I'm very proud to say I'm a Ho-Chunk woman, and I am here with all of my imperfections, learning along the way. Every time I say it, it's empowering. I was the first wild berry. I was the first one that really needed healing, that really needed to come back to my community. I was a single mother, a survivor of domestic violence. In our communities, we suffer a lot. So I think being able to acknowledge that for myself, it's showing vulnerabilities and a realism that I think because of colonization, we have been conditioned not to admit. I had a conversation with my kids and I said, I've been pre-diabetic. I had gestational diabetes. It was something where the doctor said, it's not if you're going to get it, it's when. How long can you postpone this from happening to you? As a family, we committed to adding one indigenous ingredient to one meal a week. Instead of white rice, we're gonna have wild rice. Instead of beef, we're gonna have that venison your brother shot. All of these things that had this beautiful reward, at the end of it, food started looking differently to us as a family. Our grandparents put those memories in our blood. Like, we know what home is because Ho-Chunks returned home. Our ancestors were removed 16 times forcibly, but they returned 17 because it was so important for us to be in Wisconsin, in these sacred spaces, on this sacred land. Bringing some of those practices back, bring back those blood memories. The food was the medicine that I needed to come back to my community, and I am able to use that as a way to build stronger bridges for others. The holistic food system has to be advocated for, not just one component of it, because some of that stuff was purposely stolen from us. We were facing loss almost weekly from alcoholism, drug abuse, mental health issues. It was a nonstop funeral for months, it seemed. And there was meetings saying, how can we change this? And I went thinking, what can I do? I can do something to help. I have a very specific area where I can contribute, but I can. As Wild Bearies, we started supporting small community gardens where they could harvest food if they needed fresh vegetables. We focus on what food as medicine means to us as members of the Ho-Chunk Nation, as Indigenous peoples. And it's bringing those practices back in our community in a way where individuals who are overcoming alcohol and other drug abuse issues or emotional traumas can come and work with us and be part of our organization and be participants without judgment. So we use food as a way to bring people back to our community and to make our community better. We have two subgroups of the wild berries. One is the baby berries and the other is the garden berries. The baby berries are a group of youth who come and learn interpersonal communication by being front of the house servers when we have high-end meals. And then we also have the garden berries, which originated as some elementary age tribal youth that came to the garden with their parents and have not stopped coming and showing up for these events. It's the opportunity that the next generation needed to say, this is how I can contribute, and we received it well. If I'm going to be a cycle breaker, I need to feel these emotions. I need to have my children watch me heal, and for me, being a chef was the first step in that journey. I founded this organization with my daughter, Zoe. She went and got her undergraduate degree in environmental sustainability and is now pursuing her master's degree at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where she's growing out Ho-Chunk corn. Seeing my daughter be able to find her space and others like her, where maybe, not even 3 years ago was a soil health specialist considered a viable space for a tribal position, and there is one now. Like, those changes can be permanent, and there can be more space for young women like that. The spaces that I'm able to create for them, or the doors that I'm able to open, that's what I see my job as. I competed on CHOP, which was my first culinary competition. It was a moment for me to take a step back and say, wow, you're a Ho-Chunk woman on TV. Since that appearance, I've been able to be on Top Chef as a judge. I was invited back to Top Chef to be one of the semifinal judges, like a taster, which was just mind-blowing. We also did just return from the Smithsonian Folklife Festival, where we have an ongoing partnership in sharing what culinary art looks like in our community. And it really is so much more than creating a dish of food. There are dreams that can come true, and it could happen just by being a chef, that we can have these changes in this space and share our story. The more we're in these spaces sharing why some of those narratives might need to be addressed or talked about, the more people who are making those decisions understand it isn't an accusation and there is no aggression here. It's just, let's talk about the history so that we can heal as a people. It's a great sense of pride. I have all of my ancestors who endured with strength, with a resilience that I couldn't even imagine what they had to go through to bring us home. But we're here, and we're here in these beautiful ways. How in this moment can I be that good Ho-Chunk ancestor? How can I create space and let the next generation know what it means to say, like, I'm Ho-Changada? How do we reclaim that space? When you share a meal with people, a meal that's cooked with love and intention and prayers, honoring the people who grew that corn, who harvested the wild rice, or went out and hunted for this meat, like, it is a different kind of meal. We have the knowledge on these foods that were meant to be for Ho-Chunks, put here for us. It's so much more than, dinner. I hope for the future that with Wild Bearies, we can really empower cycle breakers, empower healing, and we can do it in this space where you can be vulnerable and I won't attack you for that. I will care for you instead. And hopefully support our tribal members in ways that we just haven't been able to do in the past. I can only hope that the next generation hears those words and know we are the great Ho-Chunk Nation.